Hey guys, it's Henrika, the Whole Brain Coach, coming to you again on a Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central European Time, with another installment of Be, Think, Transform. So today's topic is the dark side of growth mindset. So I'm going to start telling you a little bit about what fixed and growth mindset are, but then we're going to go into what I've noticed some of my clients are doing that cannot be described in any other way as the dark side of growth mindset. So stay tuned if you want to find out if you're falling into the same trap. So coming right up. Hello, welcome back. And I have a visitor. So if you are enjoying what you're seeing, just leave me something in the comments. I would very much appreciate it. So today's topic, to really dive into today's topic, I have to start explaining a little bit about fixed and growth mindset, because not all of you may be familiar with those terms. So fixed and growth mindset are two categories that were invented by psychologist Carol Dweck in her book Mindset, which came out a few years ago, I think around 2017. And Ms. Dweck has done a lot of research. So what I'm doing here is going to be a very, very condensed form of what is in the book. The book, I highly recommend you get it and you read it. It is very, very well written and has a lot of scientific evidence there and case studies and examples that will make it a lot easier to understand the concept. But generally speaking, Ms. Dweck noticed in her psychology practice that she could separate people into one of two categories. People were either fixed mindset people or growth mindset people, or fixed-minded or growth-minded people. The people who had a fixed mindset subscribed to the belief that if you're born, at least you have, at some point, you have certain innate capabilities and talents, and there's not much that you can do to change those. So either you have a high IQ and you can go to university and you can be very successful and become intellectually successful, or you don't. And then you don't have to worry about going to university because you're not going to make it, basically. Whereas the growth-minded people look at it in a different way. They subscribe to the belief that they may not know something yet, but they're very keen to learn and to develop themselves. So this is like the very, very base of the argument. And you can spot fixed-minded people by their reluctance to engage in activities that they find challenging or that they feel they might fail at, because that would then mean something very negative about themselves. That it would mean they are a failure, or they are bad at something. Whereas a growth-minded person is much more flexible and say, well, I kind of screwed this one up, or this is actually really good because me messing this part of the project up means that I'm learning something. So next time around, I will be better. So there's even a story in the book which kind of stuck with me, because I have small children and I found this kind of painful to read, and yet it made a lot of sense to me. So there's a story in there of a little girl who, I don't know what it was exactly. Let me say it was ballet. So this girl gets the ballet bug and is really into practicing ballet and takes part in a competition, but she doesn't win. And she's really disappointed. But the growth-minded parent and the parents who want to foster this growth mindset in their daughter don't say, oh, you were cheated, you really were the best one, the judges have no idea. But they actually said, look, you only just started practicing ballet, and the girl that won has been doing this for 5 years, so she put in a lot of work. But if you do the same, then in a couple of years you will be just as good as she is now. So yeah. But of course, as a mom, I was like, oh my God, the poor child. And this is also partly due because I didn't grow up with a growth mindset. So that's a good thing. You can still develop it later on. All right. That said, go get the book, read the book, or Google growth mindset. I'm sure there's a gazillion hits out there with people being able to explain this much more eloquently than yours truly can right now in 2 minutes. But because what I really wanted to look at is the dark side. So recently, in conversations with several people, this has sort of kind of emerged, drifted to the surface. And that was that because it seems like such an obvious concept, growth mindset, it means you have to keep growing. And because of that, when you don't really look under the hood of the concept, when you don't read the book by Carol Dweck, when you don't do the research around growth mindset, you may end up believing that all it is a demand to become a better person, that you right now aren't good enough, that you need to fix yourself by continuously trying to grow, to learn this new skill and to learn another new skill and to practice this to become better, and this and this and this. And it just becomes, if you are, and this was the case for those 2 women that I spoke to, if you have just the tiniest bit of a perfectionistic tendency, then you're in trouble. Because perfectionism and growth mindset are a little bit like oil and water. They do not mix very well. Yeah. So what it became for these women was that they had their perfectionism in their neck, trying to keep pushing themselves forward. And, you're still not good enough. Like, you still have to do something. You still have to get better. And they were never really content where they were. Because, and here it again becomes so obvious, that everything that we do in the personal and professional development sphere needs to be looked at from a holistic standpoint. Because, hey, look at that. There is an aspect of perfectionism here. There's an aspect of self-worth that was, there was room for improvement here. It was their self-talk. So if you are feeling like you're constantly riding yourself, driving yourself on to bigger and better achievements, and you're feeling exhausted, you may need to take a breather and check in if that extra little bit and this extra course and this extra something that you want to do is really necessary right now. Or if what you would rather do is just feel in flow and effortless for once. So to get to that stage, though, you need to become a bit more forgiving with yourself. You need to cultivate a bit more, there's the word again, self-love. So, I know it is difficult when you're like, when you are so aware of your faults. And again, I can spot this quite easily because it's something that I'm struggling with, or, I'm not struggling with it anymore as much as I used to, but I can still spot it very well when it's happening with other people. So, when your desire to grow is sparked by the thought that, I'm not good enough. I'm not the expert yet. when it's imposter syndrome, when it's the perfectionism that is driving you on, then no, back off for a minute, okay? And instead, journal. This is coming up so much lately that I wanted to share this with you as well. So journaling is not like what I remember from when I was a teenager, dear diary, today, so such and such said so-and-so. No, it is not supposed to be read back, neither by yourself nor by anybody else. So it doesn't have to make sense to a remote reader. You're not writing an article for a blog or something. You don't have, if you're saying, oh, somebody said something and this triggered this memory of Joseph. And you don't have to explain the whole story around Joseph. It's enough that you know what you mean, okay? So you just put everything down. Today, like, I'm feeling anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the project that's coming up. And if I knew this extra bit of information, if I had done this course, then it would be easier for me. But really check in if those beliefs, if those thoughts are really true. Is that really the truth? Yeah. Would you be doing better at this project that you're planning if you had this extra information? Or can you do it just fine with who you are right now? And if there's just, some tweaks, that you can do, maybe it's a communication thing. Maybe you're finding your work really easy, but you're finding your relationships with your colleagues are the things that are draining you. Write it down. Yeah. It's like giving your soul a bit of a deep cleanse. Yeah. It's like sucking the poison out of a snake bite. Just write it down, close the book, and leave it there. And for all of my perfectionist listeners and viewers, don't set a time demand on your journaling of something like 30 minutes a day, okay? No, I would even say give yourself a limit. Say, I am journaling for 5 minutes and then I have to stop. Because if you don't do that, I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to sit down and you're going to say, another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes. And then you'll have written for, let's say, 25 minutes on Monday. And on Tuesday, you'll go, I can't do less than 25 minutes because yesterday I did 25 minutes. I know that's what you're doing. So don't you do it, okay? Set yourself a really small goal, a really short time limit, and try it. And then when you've tried it, tell me in the comments how you're getting on. And if you like, for extra points, if anyone has read Mindset by Carol Dweck, let me know what you thought of the book as well. All right. My name is Henrike Schmidt. I am the Whole Brain Coach, and I help serial high achievers who've kind of hit a wall or are just exhausted all the time because life feels like an uphill struggle constantly, and who would like to reintroduce some flow and effortless success in their lives by teaching them a little bit about their brain and how to use it better so they can create exactly that effortless success in their lives. All right, I will be back here next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central European Time. Until then, take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. We're not out of this yet, guys. All right.